Hi, everybody. Okay, we're going to talk step by step about directing the service. You want to arrive at the funeral home with plenty of time to set up and make sure everything is ready for the family as soon as they arrive. Before setting up, you want to check everything pertaining to the service, like the condition of the decedent. Check for any analysis of the body or with any personnel that has been working with the decedent, just to check for conditions you need to be aware of. The family may say they aren't going to view the decedent at the service, but you never know if instances like that will change and you want to be ready. Check that no cosmetics have shifted or that leaking has occurred. You want to check the location of the service. Understand if the service is at a church, at your funeral home, only a gravesite, or maybe it's at a location of your funeral home other than the chapel or what you're used to. Make sure you have adequate funeral home staff. There might be events during the service that will require more help, and then just see if you need assistance with anything before the service is started and it's too late to get that help. Clergy most of the time will arrive before the family does. You want to go over the order of service with them just so you're on the same page and understand if there are any music or video presentations they are aware of. Understand if they need your assistance or to make any announcements before, during, and after the service. With clergy you usually work with, you will understand how they conduct a service, but have a want to ask questions if you're uncertain or have seen things happen differently. It's better to ask questions than be in a situation that won't make the service flow easily. Check the cemetery if your final destination is such. Make sure that the setup is what the family is expecting. Just because they may want specific items out at the graveside than they do at the chapel or church. Alright, the setup of the service comes from a vision from the family that you just execute. So most families won't know what is the common thing to do, so they will ask details. But if families want something specific, of course that's what we'll do. Some setups will require more time than others. It's beneficial to understand beforehand what the service is going to look like. Give yourself enough time before the family gets there to have everything in place with some leeway time, because they may say they're coming at a certain time but might show up earlier. It's just better to be prepared. The placement of the casket or urn is usually the center focal point, but again, we need to know if the family is of a specific religion or culture that wants something else. Families might ask to have the casket facing towards a specific direction, and if the family is doing a memorial service, you will most likely do the same steps but with a picture or maybe a personalized item of the decedent. The arrangement of flowers can set off the entire look and flow of what you're trying to achieve. Don't just set flowers in order of what time they arrive. Flowers sent from the family will go directly near the casket, with the most important members being at the head of the casket. Some religions like to have flowers placed in order of the significance of the family members, so the closest members being closest to the casket and the line of kin following. Like flowers from cousins or nieces and nephews won't be placed before siblings or parents. Organize any personal items the family brings in. Set them up in a tactical manner than just placing them on a table or beside the casket. Use anything you have on hand to help you, like stands, easels. I've used mic stands before to hold up quilts. You just have to get creative. Lay out any sun-dry items the family has. The guest book should be placed where guests are first going to be arriving and set up so there's no congestion. Be prepared for possibly needing to set up a second podium or stand if the line gets to be too long. You can maybe get some pages from the book and set up a second area for people to sign. They don't want to be waiting forever just to come in, and that will also give the family more time to greet and spend time with their guests. Even if you will be having someone hand out folders or prayer cards, make them visible so people don't have to search for them. During the arrangement conference, the funeral director will have asked what type of music, if any, to be played. From there, you can determine what type of prelude music you should play, even if the family hasn't made a specific playlist. I like to have very soft music playing when the family arrives, just because I feel like it's a little more comforting than to walk into a room of silence. Once the family arrives, you have greeted them, let them become familiarized and comfortable, then you should ask them any questions you have. It's important not to bombard them with too much, So let decisions that can be made throughout the service be asked at the appropriate time. Go over the order of service with them to confirm everything is going on as planned and no other changes have been made. Different religions have different customs they follow, but they might not always want every aspect of their normal customs. So just make sure you and the family are on the same page. Know if there is a specific seating arrangement just so you're able to guide guests once they come. Most commonly, family will sit closest to where people will be speaking from, but you can't always assume that. Maybe they want one pew reserved, or maybe they want a whole side of the chapel blocked off. It isn't always practical, but try to gather the casket bearers before the service starts. Give them direction as to what they will be doing and when you will need them. It seems common sense to us as funeral directors for what a casket bearer does, but most commonly people have never done this, and having some form of direction will be helpful. Which is why the dismissal announcement is so important. Guests don't know what is happening next or what to do, so it's our duty to explain in detail what to do next. If it's the end of the service, that needs to be said. If you will be proceeding to graveside, that needs to be said, along with exact directions like if they're able to walk to the destination, if they have to get in their cars, or if the graveside is at a different location than where they're at. If there will be a reception following the service, explain that so it gives one less burden to the family. And put passion into your announcement. Thank everyone for coming on behalf of the family and try to tie components of the service into what you're saying.